charts, blow you up, shake it up again the shots, make it smooth, let it pop, bounce it back, booty drop. Bass charts, blow you up, shake it up again the shots, make it smooth, let it pop, bounce it back, booty drop.
Stop low, dance slow, watch it flow on the floor. Ride the wave, music crave, beat so tight, vibe feels right. Stop low, dance slow, watch it flow on the floor. Ride the wave, music crave, beat so tight, vibe feels right.
Bass charts, blow you up, shake it up again the shots, make it smooth, let it pop, bounce it back, booty drop. Bass charts, blow you up, shake it up again the shots, make it smooth, let it pop, bounce it back, booty drop.
Flow, give me more, people stomping, bases pumping, let it pound, feel the ground, body shaking all around. Hit the floor, give me more, people stomping, bases pumping, let it pound, feel the ground, body shaking all around.
Bass charts, blow you up, shake it up again the shots, make it smooth, let it pop, bounce it back, booty drop. Bass charts, blow you up, shake it up again the shots, make it smooth, let it pop, booty drop. Ground, turn around, music pop and killer sound, lemon drop, soda pop, on the move, bass drop. Take a shot, hit the spot, hit the ground, turn around, music pop and killer sounds, make it smooth, let it pop. Hit the ground, turn around, music pop and killer sound, lemon drop, soda pop, on the move, bass drop. Take a shot, hit the spot, hit the ground, turn around, music pop and killer sounds, make it smooth, let it pop. Bass charts, blow you up, shake it up again the shots, make it smooth, let it pop, bounce it back, booty drop. Bass charts, blow you up, shake it up again the shots, make it smooth, let it pop, bounce it back, booty drop.
Bass drops, body rock, shake it up like any shots. Ride the wave, music crave, beat so tight, vibe feels right. Sub low, dance slow, watch it flow on the floor. Ride the wave, music crave, beat so tight, vibe feels right.
Bass charts, blow you up, shake it up again the shots, make it smooth, let it pop, bounce it back, booty drop. Bass charts, blow you up, shake it up again the shots, make it smooth, let it pop, bounce it back, booty drop.
Flow, give me more, keep it stomping, bases pumping, let it pound, feel the ground, body shaking all around. Hit the flow, give me more, keep it stomping, bases pumping, let it pound, feel the ground, body shaking all around.
Bass charts, blow you up, shake it up again the shots, make it smooth, let it pop, bounce it back, booty drop. Bass charts, blow you up, shake it up again the shots, make it smooth, let it pop, bounce it back, booty drop.
Flow, give me more, keep it stomping, bases pumping, let it pound, feel the ground, body shaking all around. Hit the flow, give me more, keep it stomping, bases pumping, let it pound, feel the ground, body shaking all around.
Bass charts, blow you up, shake it up again the shots, make it smooth, let it pop, bounce it back, booty drop. Bass charts, blow you up, shake it up again the shots, make it smooth, let it pop, bounce it back, booty drop. Shake the floor, give me more, people stomping, bases pumping, let it pound, feel the ground, body shaking all around. Shake the floor, give me more, people stomping, bases pumping, let it pound, feel the ground, body shaking all around. Bass charts, blow you up, shake it up again the shots, make it smooth, let it pop, bounce it back, booty drop. Bass charts, blow you up, shake it up again the shots, make it smooth, let it pop, bounce it back, booty drop.
Dakota, please with your baby should exit. I could talk about whatever the fuck I want on my channel. It's a song about dancing on a fun night out. You got a problem with that? You ever been to a club like on a good night where you're having a couple drinks, throwing it back with your friends, and you're dancing on the floor? Bass drops, body rocks. I wrote this song. So you can gladly fucking exit. Okay. Why I'm really here.
View for, but not be going as planned.
Ernie has something going on where he's making lives and deleting lives and having short lives and things of that nature. Yesterday, something disturbing happened for me. Ernie has been going on and on and on about how he's going to start going and catching child predators again. He's done this in the past. He's been told by many law enforcement agencies to stop. He claims that that's what he was doing the day Summer went missing. But something even more disturbing is yesterday, as I'm listening to him, there is a woman, in my opinion, for some reason, it sounds like lips. Probably not, but you never fucking know. In the background, screaming bloody murder as Ernie's walking by to tell you about his operation. There's a lot of blanks in this. He does 18-minute videos, and like 10 of it is nothing but fucking blank. You don't hear nothing. So I'll come on and talk as we go through, but there's really just one part. This is a short live. I want you all to hear because I want your thoughts on this.
Friday night we'll be we're going to have to do something else because Joshua Molina, the guy I was going to interview, has been busted in Operation Hook, and so he did just get busted again. Operation Hook, you guys can check it out. It just happened. I just got off the sheriff's department, verified about there was 11 arrests, 11 busts. It's Operation Hook, which is hands off our kids. You can check it out.
So he's on a break. It's quiet. I look like shit, guys. I just woke up. I don't have my lights on. I didn't put no makeup on. I literally, while my music was playing, ran in and put clothes on. Okay, hold on. Operation Hook. Let's look it up. This is what he says he's doing. Hold on. One more step. I am human. Maybe. Okay. Hold on. Let's see what this is and if it includes Ernie's name since he said he's involved. Maybe we should reach out to some people. Operation Hook targets online SA predators, leads to 11 arrested, including human trafficking charges. Dalton, Georgia, a 4-day. Now, I just watched something. Okay, else about Georgia, same area. Dalton, Georgia, a 4-day proactive online undercover investigation coordinated by the Georgia Internet Crimes Against Children Task Force, the Georgia Bureau of Investigation, and Whitfield County Sheriff's Office resulted in the arrest of 11 people on numerous charges, including human trafficking charges. The operation, named Operation Hook, Hands Off Our Kids, ran from October 2nd through October 6th. The goal of Operation Hook was to identify the persons who engaged in explicit communication with children on the internet, arranged to engage in a act with the child, and then travel to meet the child for the purpose of having S. Additionally, the operation targeted those who are...
So everyone just check out real quick, like, I didn't want to go live. I got a few things I'm working on right now. It is great news, but you guys can check it out. We are going to be doing boots on the ground here in Chattanooga tonight. So I'll see you guys here later on. Much respect. God bless you all. Oh, Lord, they're arresting somebody right now.
So Ernie was not in Georgia. He was not in Operation Hook. I just read to you who was. He came back on while I was reading. However, now all of a sudden he's in Chattanooga. You know what I think is real fucking funny about that? Ernie using the name Chattanooga. When Benny and Tiffany and Gavel and Krama especially came out, they didn't want to dox Jody Sue's name. So what they would do, because she's named after a city in Tennessee. So what Jody would do, I mean, not Jody, what Benny and that little crew would do is they would get on here and they would call Jody Sue's daughter Chattanooga, making fun of her. Now, the even more funniest thing about that is in the James Light bust, there was a lot of things going on in the Chattanooga area. There was things being trafficked from area to area. Chattanooga was a big one. There was a doctor in the Chattanooga area who claims to have come to my chat one time, actually, even though I think she should be in prison. But somebody came into my chat under her name quite some time back. Squall spoke about it quite often, the trafficking, the James Light bust, but a lot of that connected to the Rogersville area. There was a doctor, I think, writing off fake prescriptions or something. We'll have to go back and listen. Lisa K is still saying it. Crystal, are you okay? Why wouldn't I be? That ain't Lisa K. I'm fine, honey. And we're going to go through my community post yesterday, too, and I'm going to start explaining a little to you. But there's something going on this, right? Are you? There's something going on in this live that I really want you to hear, because I don't know why, if this is theatrics or Ernie, are you kidnapping somebody at the time that you're live streaming? What in the motherfuck is going on?
Holy shit. Thank you for your service, guys. Thank you for your service.
I want to break this up. I don't hear a man. I hear a woman begging for her life, it sounds like, going, I know. And in my opinion, I don't know why, but the woman sounds like lips. So is this a setup? Or, Ernie, did you do something yesterday? You clearly were not involved in Operation Hook. They tell you who was, and they wouldn't hire a fucking fool like you, in my opinion. But hey, since we're here and everybody heard what I just wanted you to hear, let's listen a little further because it keeps going. We're going to jump into my community post from the last couple days. Hey, Bob, you out there, you fucking penis egg plant fucking head bitch motherfucker? Let's go. Grab a link. Since you got all this proof, I want you all to meet my brother-in-law. My ex-brother-in-law. Thank fucking God.
I gotta go. That's all.
My son needs me. I'm supposed to tell my audience I'll be back at his demand. So we're going to put something else on real quick that I want you guys to listen to. Because there's a lot of things I want to go over. We'll start with the post. He's what?
I think he cut wood for you.
Oh, he's cutting my wood. He wants me to go see his wood. My son has a problem like I do. Very much impatient. Not just Justin. I mean, Summer. Please, can you get her out of here? Because I'm messing up really bad. Can you just get upstairs and look at the wood? Tell him I can't leave. Shut the door, please. I'm sorry. You can come back when it's quiet. Fucking damn this house. Okay, this is my friend Chester. I believe Ernie directly connects to my friend Chester. I believe Ernie to be a blood relative to people in my area I grew up in. I don't know if there's truth to it. I don't have no proof of it. Based on some conversations I've had with Ernie, like him not denying me saying I know a few of those names when we speak, Ernie being in the wrestling circuit is really fucking curious to me because I have a friend in the same wrestling circuit, I believe, that Ernie is in. His name is Neil. We'll leave that his last. I believe that would be a connection up here to Pittsburgh. One, probably directly to my mother. Huh, Ernie? I'm going to show you why I think my family could have taken Summer. Let's start. Which one has the million comments? We'll go to the first one. Because what I want to do is go over. We were talking about the Miami stuff, right? I want to get back into that. I want you to see what it was like to live there in them days and the children that lived around me. Them days were children much like this man I'm going to show you. Possibly the man I'm going to show you, honestly. I seem to remember a little boy that I used to play with. I showed you guys a map the other day with the house. His name was Juan. And there was some funky shit about his family. I'm not saying I know this guy. I'm saying the coincidences are there. That this guy could be the same person that I knew one time in my real life. I know that the kid I'm speaking of did a lot of fucking travel, and there was a lot with a lot of other shit in the country that he lived in. And after listening to this, I don't know these people. When my mom and dad divorced, I moved away from Miami, never spoke to them again. I wasn't allowed. My father never took me back down to Miami. I just remember these people from being a children, and you guys are going to find this really unfucking believable. Everybody's going to make fun of me. I can't fucking wait. But I do believe at one point there was a safe house around the corner from my home where Pablo Escobar's family lived. I played with his son. That's what I'm thinking. There's another kid I know, same age, I know, grew up in the same area, Billy Corbin. You ever hear of him? He wrote the first Cocaine Cowboys. I believe him to be one of my classmates. Like, people fucking think I'm faking it, but I'm catfishing these motherfuckers. Come out here and tell me I'm fucking wrong. Please, grab a link and say you're fucking crazy. Because I don't think that I am. And my father tended to move around with Griselda's people to states and areas they lived when they lived. However, I didn't know that until I've been doing things in research. And because my father has this borderland and the connections to the Cocaine Cowboys from when I was a child. That's the honest to God's truth. So this is Juan Pablo Escobar. And I do believe at one time he was a neighbor of mine. Let me remove this. Ooh, my face. I remember the little boy's pictures. I remember striped shirts all the time. We would ride bikes down to Biscayne Bay, lay on our bellies, pick crawfish off the side of the wall, take them home. There was a White House next to the bay that we used to sneak into the yard. His parents knew the people. I believe my parents did too. So we were allowed over there. But I do think this could possibly be the same little boy that I played with as a child. No joke. Make fun of me. Do what you got to do. I lived in Surfside, Miami, and Bell Harbor area. I don't know what to tell you. Look me up. It's on Ben Verified. Look my father up. I've been showing you proof of it forever. However, let's take a listen to this, and I'm going to go see what my son wanted, and then I'll be right back to go over my comments.
Violent act from my father's side. I was the first one to receive the consequences of that. And perhaps that's why I choose a very different path in my life for me, because being so aware of, every single act of violence that my father committed, right away come back to me. So I understood that how it works. It's like a boomerang. You send the boomerang with love, the boomerang will come back with love to your life. But if you send the boomerang, to cut some head, perhaps it will come back and cut yours.
Yeah. They say the apple don't fall far from the tree, so don't be deceived by him pushing these keys. Everybody wanna know why he's on the bomb pad, not knowing that his dad is the reason why he on that.
Welcome to the Ideas for the Open-Minded TCast. Here we explore crime and punishment, socially relevant issues, and anecdotes from unique people.
Fugitive cocaine lord Pablo Escobar.
Escobar, a ruthless killer,
a bloodthirsty gangster,
one of the world's most hunted men.
Killing 19 and injuring nearly 200.
Scouring the countryside for Colombia's most wanted man. So far, Pablo Escobar has outfoxed them.
When I was running with the Colombo family, we thought that we understood power. We thought we knew what it meant to really control territory and move serious money in the streets. But nothing, and I mean nothing, compared to what Pablo Escobar built in Colombia. And I mean nothing. This man didn't just run a criminal organization, he nearly brought an entire government to their knees. He had his own army, his own territory, his own rules. At his peak, Pablo was moving about 15 tons of cocaine into the United States every single day. 15 tons. That's more drugs than most cartels move in a year. But here's what nobody talks about. Pablo Escobar was also a father. He had a son named Juan Pablo, who lived inside this empire of violence and terror. This kid grew up in a world where bodyguards followed him to school, where his birthday parties had more security than government buildings, where his father was simultaneously one of the most loved and most hated men in Colombia. Juan Pablo Escobar, now Sebastian Marroquin, has never told his story like this before. He's sitting right here with me today, and what he's about to share will change everything you think or even know about one of history's most notorious criminals. Sebastian didn't just witness his father's empire, he lived it. He saw the money, he saw the power, he saw the corruption, but he also saw the cost. The sleepless nights, the constant fear, the bodies that piled up in his father's wake, all of it. This isn't speculation from the outside looking in. This is the truth from someone who was there, in the room, watching one of the most powerful criminal empires in history operate from the inside. My friends, in one of his rarest English-speaking interviews ever, and I mean ever, Sebastian Marroquin, the son of Pablo Escobar, this is his story, and I'm telling you this, it's absolutely the most fascinating sit-down I've ever had. Sebastian, what a pleasure. I know we've been trying to put this together for quite some time now, and just really thrilled to have you on. I've been looking forward to this for a long time. And I got to tell you, we both have a story. We both grew up with, I'd have to say, notorious dad. And I have to say, in the end, I have to compliment you because you did the right thing and stayed on the right track. I obviously did not, and I paid the price for it. But, by the grace of God, I'm here now and able to sit down and talk with you. So I have a lot to say, but, my viewers are going to be very interested in speaking with you. And by the way, I'm going to let them know that, you're going to be sharing your story on a major tour coming up in the next several months. And we're going to invite people to join you. I have a very good friend of mine that's going to be coming out there. So I know there's going to be a lot of interest in the tour and what you have to say. So, why don't we start off, I have to ask you this on my own. How did you deal with all the stuff that was going on with your dad from you as probably from birth that it was going on? How did you deal with it all as a child, Sebastian?
Thank you very much, Michael, for having me in your show. For me, it's also a pleasure and an honor to, have the possibility to meeting you at least in a virtual way, but perhaps in the future in a personal way. So, yes. Well, how should I how did I deal with my past? It's something that it's for me. It's about improvising every single day of your life because
So, sorry, my son wanted me to teach me how to use a circular saw. Gotta be kidding me. in the middle of my live. What the fuck is wrong with him? I got wood all over me. No, I don't know how to use it. I fucked that shit all up. There was...
I thought you knew how to use it.
No, I always had you do it.
Oh.
Okay.
I swear you knew how to use one.
Fucking ridiculous shit in this family. Okay. So the reason I want to go over him is because we were talking the other day about Michael Corleone and what it was like growing up as a child of Griselda. This man had a much different experience. A worse experience, in my opinion, and it pisses me off to no end that later in this interview, what he's going to tell you is that he is no longer allowed in America. Now, we have all this immigration shit going on, right? I understand the immigration. However, like I was explaining the other day, my feelings on immigration is probably different based on experience and living in Miami and visiting Miami my whole life to the different nationalities that live down there. One of the things you get to learn is culture. Why different races, different religions, different this, different that, how they're treated. You hear, is it him or Corleone, one of them in one of these interviews they talk about the flags in the yards. Oh no, that was actually a Billy Corbin. So that you know what nationality the person comes from. Everybody keeps to their own. That's the vibe, the feeling down there. This guy, he's not even allowed in America just because he's Pablo Escobar's son. He's never committed a crime. I don't find that fair. And when we go to immigration laws, we need to be able, he's been like going, somebody stole the little money they left him over in I think it was Medellin. They stole the money from his family. He was left with nothing. He handed all of his stuff over to Escobar's enemies in the country they were living just so their family could live. It's fucking crazy. Really interesting too. So let's give it a listen.
It's like a death threat could come up, and or someone who could betray you. You have to be with your eyes open, so you have to deal with every single detail and every consequences of or our own choices in life, our daily choices. And as you mentioned in the beginning, for me was
he's an architect now. He went to school. He builds buildings. He lives in, I think he said, Argentina. I think that's what he said. We'll have to listen. But he's made his own way through life. Very smart man, well poised, speaks intelligently. He tells you what it was like living with a man and what it's like to not, like, you're brought up to love your parents no matter what. How do you take that love away when you discover as a child your parents are bad people? You're just born. You're a baby. You can't help the life you're born into. And it seems like the children and the wife, I mean, the wife probably knew a little bit of things here and there. I can see a little bit, but the children who were children while Escobar was doing these things, because let's remember Escobar died while this guy was still a child. He was 16 years old. He's going to tell us, I don't know if it's this interview or another one, he spoke to his father 10 minutes before his father's death. But how do you, as a child, comprehend the bad things your parents do and then to be kicked out of countries because of the things your parents did? That's sad to me. Where he lives, he had to spend most of his life with no freedom, hand over his belongings. They were stolen from. The very little bit somebody went and did an extortion case on him. Kind of like what goes on here with Summer's case, right? Like, But this is a really interesting watch. Let's watch it.
You took another path, but I have no. I'm not a judge of anyone. I'm just. I think that we do what we do, believing that we are doing the best thing we could do as human beings. But at the end of the day, we can, think about what we did and perhaps start thinking differently thanks to the experiences that we achieved or the consequences that we suffer.
Well, let me, and I appreciate that. And, fortunately, at some point, the light went on in my head and I was able to, to walk away and have a life with my wife and children and go on in that way. But let me ask you this. One of the things that I respected about my dad is that he never brought what was going on in the outside world into the house. He really tried to make us a family. And although he was always, being dogged by law enforcement, we had a lot of stuff going on. How was your father? Was he that way? Did he try to keep things that were going on in his world outside of the house? Did he try to just create a real family atmosphere? My friends, I know something about having power. Whether it's on the streets or in the media, it's all about who controls the narrative. And right now, the mainstream media is trying to control yours, whether you realize it or not.
Deal with it
Can't afford to be in the
because we have to be and stay with our eyes open all the time, 24/7. We couldn't sleep much, so it was very hard to maintain the family together, and at the same time trying to keep that atmosphere like nothing's happening. But at the end of the day, uh, life appears and is there, and you have to face it, and you have to deal with it. And I think that my father tried to, he did a big effort to maintain the family together, but at the same time to maintain also our eyes very open, just in case, that something could happen. So it was a mix of, love and fear and danger and, a lot of stuff going on at the same time. A
And
lot of adrenaline.
what was that danger? Was it just from, other cartel members, enemies in that regard? Was it from the government constantly? Did you have it on both sides that you had to be concerned about?
Every side, man. It's even our own family members betrayed my father. So it was very difficult to feel safe. You couldn't trust anyone. It was very difficult for us to find someone who could be really loyal and thankful and grateful about whatever. But finding some loyalty in those days was a very hard thing to achieve because
Imagine growing up in fear like that. To not be able to trust anybody around you because that's how you're brought up as a child. Could you imagine instilling fear in your children? Don't trust nobody. My dad was like that. It's fucking crazy. You can't trust nobody. Don't talk to nobody. Be nice, but don't talk to nobody. To live in the fear knowing your father is an enemy of people, but not knowing why. To think that cowboys and Indians is a real life game. To travel from country to country, seeing different things. Like this man, Pablo Escobar, is something I was learning about. I've been really studying it the last couple days, and something I was learning about. He built his own prison. He was in trouble, and he built his own prison. And he would he had a bar. It was decorated. It wasn't like a prison, but he would have people unalived while he was sitting in a bar in his home drinking, listening to music. People glorify that shit. I'm not saying it's cool or what did somebody say, fascinating or anything. I'm live, baby. Out. Earl, hold on a minute. Interruptions. And by the way, my son sucks and my soul's better.
Do you have a manual?
I get him. I'm
No.
talking. My son's down there cutting wood. He did an awful job, but we'll pretend it's good. Not exactly what I wanted. I want a damn jigsaw. He keeps telling me, you need a circular saw. No, they're little. I just need a little fucking saw to make a round that's even. The circular saw is too big for the job of what I want to do. My kid keeps arguing with me about it. But we'll let him go. He did get me a really thin, broken one. He's wasting my wood. This one turned out good. Well, see, we're still wood chopping. Okay. Back to what I was saying. Lock that door, please. He's going to come up here next. It's like I have a kid that's almost 30 years old, and he acts like a 12-year-old. He better get his shit together. Swear to fucking God. Okay. So anyways, what I'm saying is this man would have to run country to country, right? In fear, learning. Yeah, a mini chainsaw. Do they make mini ones? I'm definitely going to have to look for that. Yes? I did make, we've been crafting around here. I've been trying to step down a little bit because as you can see, my life is chaotic with all them comments. So I've been crafting. My daughter-in-law, you know, Ziggy does her epoxy resin shit. I made, doesn't that look like a little ornament? My daughter-in-law made the pyramid. I made the teddy bear and put all the decorations on the pyramid. Looks like a little gift store thing, don't it? It says, I choose strength, and she believed she could, so she did. Maybe I'll set up a shop one day. Ziggy, your shit sucks, yo. Not all of it. You do got some good tips. Thanks for them. I'll be applying them. You taught me a few things. Okay. So this man had to run in fear of his life, like from country to country. Aw, thank you, Helen. And he came to America. They lived in America. You hear it. You hear, what's his name? Michael Corleone talk about when they lived over here. What was the book about, Helen? Was it good? But what I was saying before I was interrupted again was a lot of people will, like, they glorify Pablo. But truth is, there was a lot of death surrounding him, and it was sad. And I'm sure for this man, it's hard to go home and see those things because his home is Colombia. His home was America. That's where he was. Now he's thrown out of America. The Medellin people made them give all of their damn money to them, and then they kicked them out of the country. They had to beg to stay in their own country, and that's what you're going to hear here. Now, this is why, to me, immigration laws are different. Now, it's not just because we know Pablo Escobar did a lot of bad shit in our country, right? But to what point does the family got to pay when they are not involved directly in the crime? This kid was a baby. He was 16 when his father passed away. Most of his father's crimes were done while he was in grade school and under. Oh, cool. Thank you, Ellen. Okay.
Because it's like people is always there for partying, and when nothing's going on, everybody's there. But when problems comes up, everybody leaves and no one stays. And this is the way to know who really loves you. And we were, at the end of the day, we were the only ones who stayed with my father, because not even his family members stayed with him, and not even his mother, or or the other relatives. So it was also a very sad thing to, observe, and to see that, they didn't care, they didn't feel any kind of gratitude. As long as they were a party, they were there. But if there was any trouble, nobody was going to see if they could help or whatever. So, and I think that the saddest part is when you when you see your family, betraying you, it's something that you don't expect because, it's like it's your family, it's someone you can trust. That's at least what you expect, the minimum you expect, a little.
How many of you guys have had family members betray you over something stupid, like they borrowed $20 and didn't return it, and how angry you got? Can you imagine when it's millions upon millions? This man was making $140 million a week trafficking in snow business. Could you imagine? And I'm sure there's enough there, like here you can have this, but the problem with Pablo is, and you're going to hear that come up too, is he got into politics. He was making the money. He was a young man making the money there with his family. You'll hear him. He was there till this child was about 7 years old. And then something changed. Imagine that. That would be a traumatic experience for a child of somebody from that era that did the things Pablo did. You know what I mean? I know what it's like to have your family betray you. As a matter of fact, in Summer's case, I think I'm finding a whole hell of a lot of shit out. May actually connect to his dad's shit. No joke. People will say I'm delusional all they want, but I did grow up with people just like him, if not him. It's a possibility it was even him. Truth. Please come help me figure my life out, dude. I'd appreciate it if you were the same one I played with, because for some reason I think you are. Wasn't very long. We moved before you, though, I believe. Okay.
A bit of loyalty, but
Another thing about that family I'm speaking about, I remember, is just all the travel and them being from a different country, like sort of having money, but not having money, living modest, like normal. And the little boy was so sweet, like the sweetest little boy ever you'd ever meet in your life. He was like my best friend when I was down there. I just don't know, remember last names and things, but I really do for some reason think it was this guy. I don't. It might not have been. I'm not crazy. I promise. But it's a huge possibility.
unfortunately, my father had his worst enemies already inside his own family.
Wow. And was that, do you think that mistrust or this bad loyalty was because they were afraid, or were they trying to capitalize on anything? What do you think the reason for that was? Because I know your
Well,
father took care of the family.
I know, and he was a guy who never abandoned his family at all. He was always there for everyone. But I think it was a mix of ambition and being afraid of what could happen to them, coming from my father's enemies. Anything could happen, But I was, in my case, I was his son, and of course, it was going to be easy for me if I just switched sides. Everybody was like expecting that, but I didn't switch sides, but I didn't took my father's path at all, and I didn't continue with his legacy of violence. I just stopped there, but it wasn't, there wasn't any need to betray him, and that's something that, at least for me, really allows me to sleep easily every night because I didn't betray him at all.
In my opinion, this guy talks a lot about betrayal with his dad, and I feel like that was a fear. Probably one from seeing other people betray his family, and probably two from hearing his father constantly say, "Don't you ever betray me." That was probably something like, you got to imagine, even with Michael Corleone, they probably grew up with a fear of their own parents. There's the love. Like with me, my dad just wasn't there. He was a piece of fucking garbage. But with this guy, he had a dad that was there, sort of. He traveled a lot. So, there's a difference. But could you imagine growing up, your parents teaching you to fear every person in your life? What kind of paranoia that would create for you as an adult? Just my opinion. And it's fucking sad. Sorry, but screw you, Pablo. Your kid deserved better.
All. I was there with him. I was against his violence, as everybody knows, but at the same time, it was for me, it was my father, and I love him very much, and I didn't want anything to happen to him, and I was willing to protect him and did whatever it takes to protect him as a father. But at the end of the day, the violence, everybody was against us. Our whole country and many other countries in the world were against my father, and until they got him, and it was very hard to overcome that situation.
Well, your father at that time was one of the most high-profile figures in the world, really. I mean, everybody knew about your father and his legacy and things that were going on. Let me ask you, did your father ever try to steer you into the life to follow him, or did he want you to stay out of it?
He always encouraged me to stay out of it. He always said to me, you have to study, you have to do whatever you want in life. You have to choose what you want to do for your life and for yourself. And I'm very sure that if I always, if I could ask him that I just want to be a gangster like him, he would say, okay, let me show you how to do it. But at the same time, he was always encouraging me to study. He was saying to me, if you want to be a doctor, I want to give you the best hospital in town as a gift for you. Or if you want to be a hairdresser, I'm going to give you a salon, whatever you want to do in life, but do
Right.
something, study, and choose what you want to do. But he never invited me to be part of his gang at all and I truly understood this when I actually became a father. I'm a father of a 12-year-old son. And, our sons are the ones that we love most in this life. And not even for 1 second we want for them anything bad to happen. So there's no way that you as a drug dealer could dream that, your son is going to be the next guy who is going to follow you. There's no way you can think like that. If you truly love your son or your daughter, you will never invite them to be part of the drug trafficking business, because you know how violent it is. It's nothing good will come out.
So I appreciate that. Hey, Daddy O, he didn't invite him into the business. However, he did tell him he wouldn't deny him from the business, but the child still had to sit around and watch it, right? Very lucky this man was more straightforward and didn't want that life for himself and his children and his family. So he did other things. He became an architect. But you don't just stop loving your parents. That's the world you're thrown into, you're brought up to. It's like, think about what's going on in, let's say, Gaza or anywhere across the world. Right now, there are children being born and there's war going on. They are being born into trauma. When us Americans cry about little petty baby bullshit, we are being selfish, because there are babies right at this moment being born in other countries, already being born into trauma. If you catch my drift, you can't help where you came from, your circumstances. Like, a lot of people will say, it's up to you to change your circumstances. No. Sometimes it's up to the government. Sometimes it's up to our parents. Sometimes it's up to our families. You can't just change, you can change your circumstance, but you can't change the circumstance of the humans around you. So it makes it harder for you to change your circumstance. And people will just say, oh, that's not, you can change it. Now, there are people out there here in America that prefer to be a bum when they have opportunities to change their circumstance. But it's different. Each human is different. Each person's traumas are different. Everything is very different. So it's shameful of us to go judge people, the next person next to us, and say, hey, we don't know what kind of life the person sitting next to us has had, if that makes sense.
Out of it. So the consequences of those decisions in my life and also in my father's life, because it was, of course, his decision to educate me uh, like a better man instead of inviting me to be part of his gang. So that I'm feeling very grateful towards my father because of that, because he always, you know, recognized that I was more like a pacifist instead of a gangster. I love him very much and I respect him, and I also, the love that I felt for him doesn't make me blind. And it does allow me to know what he did good and what he did wrong.
Well, I so appreciate you saying that, Sebastian, because so many times people have said that to me, because my father.
My question for him would be, you know, when did you realize who your father was? Like, as you grew up as a child and you thought everything in your life was normal, and it would be the same for Michael Corleone. When did you realize? Well, Michael says he tells us it was in a movie theater for him, but we don't hear that from Pablo's son. When did you feel your life was different than any other child? Like, when did you notice the children around you, or at school, or when you see kids in the community were doing things differently than you were? Because this family had to hide. He'll tell us they didn't even get to enjoy their money a majority of the time. They had to hide. They were always on the run and living in fear. Even though they had all the money, people couldn't bring them, like he couldn't go shopping. They would live starving. His father starved because he was hiding and on the run. He had his family with him. Like, it's like being at war over some damn Coke. I'll never understand the greed on this earth. I truly did hate my father. That's real life shit. And I'm not saying because my father these people, but because I lived a similar life to these people very young. But different. My life was different. My father was abusive, extremely abusive.
Father had, a reputation. The FBI here had said he murdered 30 or 40 people, even though they didn't, they've never shown any proof of that. They just talked about it. And people say, well, how can you respect or love somebody, like that?
How about this? I always thought I was the daughter of a drug trafficker. Oh, you wouldn't believe that, would you? It's all fake and made up, according to everybody here on YouTube, because everybody knows my life more than me, right? Hey, you all suck.
That. And I told him, I said, why do good people do bad things at some point? It doesn't mean they're bad people. If I can, and I know people have a problem with that. In my former life, there were a lot of good guys that I think were good people, but we had a certain ideology. We did things for the wrong reasons. And I also believe that, children want to love their parents. You got to give them a real reason not to love them. They want to love their parents, and sometimes we overlook some of the things they do on the outside. But when they show us love and they're good in the household, we love that. And I think it's just a normal feeling.
Yeah, man, and we are not here to judge our fathers. This is not our job. We are just here to be part of the most important things in their lives, in their feelings. So it's not our job to judge them. Of course, we have to be very aware of what they did. We have to know deeper than anyone our own stories. So we will never commit the mistake of repeating those stories. But that doesn't forbid anyone to love their own father, because it's about family. It's a matter about family. It's about, being human. And I don't think there are, even if such an extreme figure as my father, uh, even a guy like him had like, feelings about, towards his son, his daughter, his many, many family members. And I felt a lot of love from him. and I have to remember that. I have to honor that. I was raised in a culture that you have to honor your mom and your dad, but at the same time, I have to respect also my father's victims. I have to respect the story that happened, the damage that he caused, and to be.
Things are getting better, little Dev. I'm doing good. I am. It's been a rough year. I'm not gonna lie, but things are getting better and better every day and way more clear. We are gonna go over my messages with the fucking eggplant penis head in a minute. I'm not gonna go all the way over this because I'm already on an hour and I do want to go over that. So we will listen. We're at 17 minutes. I'll probably take this to like 20, 25 minutes. And then I'll come back and we'll go over it after dinner. But I'm doing great. Hope you guys are all doing good.
Very aware of that, and also, and unfortunately, thanks to that situation, I became so aware of the consequences of his actions that now, even if I grew up surrounded by bandits, now I work with kids to help them not to become in a figure like my father, to make them and feel very aware of the consequences of taking those decisions in life.
Yeah, and that's I do.
I think it's this interview. He's going to tell you what his plans are for the future for children everywhere, all over the world. He wants to teach. He wants to be a better man. He doesn't want to live by his father, but the example of his father. He wants to make their mistakes better. So I don't understand what the United States' problem the fuck is with letting this guy come in here. He could help. He could help teach our young to stay away from the pew violence, the drug violence. That's the thing that comes with trafficking often is a lot of crime, no matter what it is, even low level, right? When you're trafficking drugs, you're still creating crime in communities, and that crime harms even those that don't use. Those people suffer. Your communities suffer. And this man wants to help. He doesn't want to hurt. I would really like to have a sit down with this man. I wish I could somehow and just pick his brain. Because imagine, like I keep saying, imagine being the son of a child. He's my age. It was my father and mother's generation that did all this shit. I'm 48 years old. If you're my age, you know that. Go back to the 80s. Think about what America was like in any town, any city. Go back to where you were, New England. He's not allowed in Britain. That's another place he's not allowed is over in the UK. Just those two countries don't permit him in. There got to be a reason for that. Strange shit, man. But imagine how much of a help he could be to our country if he did things right, and he is on the up and up and don't have hidden money. And I mean, you got to think of all the possibilities, right? However, but to me, he seems genuine. And if this was the child I knew as a child, I know he's genuine. Well, at least from 7 years old. Like I said, sweetest little boy. And there was something real funky with the family. And his name was Juan. That's why I'm just like, whoa. Andy looks like the kid in that picture and the striped shirts all the time. Weird shit.
Do the same, and I totally understand that. Let me ask you, I witnessed some violence at a young age, and it had an impact on me. I would assume that in your case was even more extreme. And, when it did happen, and I'm assuming it did, and if it didn't, let me know, how did that impact you?
Well, still today I am discovering, the impact that caused that to my spirit, to my soul, to my mind, to my body, because it has to hurt somewhere. I don't know, but I don't know if you believe about energies or but whatever we don't say or we don't mention, it's like your body cries even if from the inside somehow. So I believe that, like a soldier, when you go to the war, it's like there's a lot of trauma. But I think that at least my attitude in life is to not to feel like nothing happened, but to be positive about it and not to complain and not too much, and move forward in life and embrace everything that happened in my life and be grateful about it, because it is a miracle that I survived to tell the story. I'm doing my best as a human being to tell the right story, to respect the story, to respect my father's victims also, and the memory of the relatives that passed away, unfortunately, thanks to my father's orders. I'm speaking about many, many families around Colombia and around the world. So I believe that, that gave me the opportunity to embrace my story somehow and to heal also. When I approached too many of my father's victims to ask for their forgiveness and to start a reconciliation process, it's not about forgetting things. It's about healing. It's about moving forward and finding a way to live a different present, to live a different past and a different future for my son, building different relationships, not being part of any conflict at all, became a pacifist because I do care about my son's future. And this is something that I question about my father. Did he really care about my future? Because he became so involved in many violent activities that at the end of the day, we are adults, and you have to start thinking, hey man, was he really loving me? Because he became part of every problem that was part in Colombia. So it's hard to analyze all of this, but for me, it's not about judging our fathers. It's about being grateful for the fathers that we did have in the past and the experiences that we learned from them. And I also believe deep in my heart that every father that we have the experience to have in our home, they were given the best for us. I'm sure of that.
Well, it's good to hear. Not good to hear that, but I understand it because my dad did 40 years in prison, and he kept getting violated. He would come out on parole, get violated, and go back 5 times.
Share. This would be a good time for me to say something to you. I understand your life was hard. I appreciate that you bring your father out and you love him the way you do. That's why I don't go full deep on you like I do Benny's dumbass. I believe you love your dad, and I think that us as creators can learn from people like Sebastian, because he's changed his name. His real name was Juan. But we can learn from people like him. We can't help who our fathers were. I like to see that your father's doing better in life. I like those stories. I would like to hear more about him, the human he was prior. Instead of all the exploitation on missing kids and putting your face on people's houses and things like that. That's not, you got to learn from his mistakes, not repeat them, is what I'm saying. And I don't these days see your dad as a bad person, but you're around my age. I can tell you lived a rough life, and I don't think that the subs should judge that rough life. However, in my opinion, you have to do better. Just saying.
And the third time of his violation, I sat with him and I said, Dad, you need to move out of the city of New York. You can't stay here. You keep getting violated. And our family is falling apart. My sister died of an overdose of drugs. My brother became a drug addict. My younger sister died at 40 years old. My mother was not, mentally stable at times. And I know he loved our family. I know it. But he refused to leave. And as a result, it just kept getting worse. And sometimes I would question him, just like you just said, Dad, I know you love me, but what's really going on? You know, do you love your life, your lifestyle more? And I struggled with that a little bit, so I can certainly relate to that. But let me ask you this. I read someplace at one point you had 27 motorbikes or mini bikes, and you would visit, there was an
Yes, I
exotic
was a
zoo.
huge.
You had a,
Yes, I was a huge fan of motorcycles, and I really love them very much. We used to have our own motocross, like what's the name for that in Spanish?
Now, we hear about this from Michael Corleone. Both of their families were friends in Medellin, I don't know how to say it. And their son also did the motocross. They were in it together. You'll hear that. They had the 27 bikes. I would love to see an interview with him and Michael Corleone together, to sit down and just sit back and talk about their families. Wouldn't that be cool? I'm more interested in not what they did in the communities, but how their families felt going through all the things they went through together and apart. I imagine these children at one time knew each other, right? I wonder if they still talk. Why is it Michael Corleone is allowed in America, but Pablo Escobar's son is not? Now, Michael Corleone, oh, that's right. Michael Corleone was born in America, so they couldn't do nothing about it, right? No, he had a birth certificate over there because they changed the name. They dropped the Corleone. We're going to have to go over that. We'll have to study it. But I'm still curious if that's the case, if he was born over there too, why is he allowed over here, but Pablo Escobar's son was not? Sorry for my misspeakings.
In English. We had a motocross field in the Hacienda Nápoles, and many other places. We use the motorcycles in Medellin, in the mountains, in many places. And also, you know, motorcycle became a very important part of my father's stories, because this is where the sicarios started. They started using motorcycles to kill
right.
people, you know, to
To die.
so it was part of our culture at the same time. And not only riding and enjoying, but also part of the criminal culture of our country. And my father used the motorcycle as a weapon, you know, to attack many political leaders.
And we got that in our country today. It still goes on. It's still being used. I actually have a young man that runs my garage. He doesn't anymore do what he used to do, but little fucker would ride around Pittsburgh all the time with his crew when they weren't supposed to, like in the streets, blocking off the streets. The police would have to chase them. Eventually, our city got nicer to them and started giving them rallies. I feature some of them in my videos here, actually. I love Keelan. I really fucking do. He's a good kid. He's getting his shit together. He just had a baby. He's fixing houses in the middle of the night to make extra money, but he's a little young man with a smart mind. You know, these young kids, they don't think no more. But still today, criminal activity, this was a few years ago they made these videos, so I'm not telling on nobody, and the police already know about them, and they've been arrested over them. So I'm not doing anything dumb. But I feature, like, this still goes on, crime all over. Here comes I'm not going to get paid for my live today. See that? Here we go. Because of Phil. I love Phil. Hold on.
Now niggas wanna call.
Yo, where the fuck is you at, bro? Nigga, I'm pulling the bike I've been calling your phone for like an hour. Hurry the fuck up. Why you ain't ready? I've been ready since you been ready, nigga. I'm waiting on you. Man, I'm outside. Open the garage.
Rev my engine till my tires spin around with a fire. Hold my willy in the air as long as I can. Desire makes my two-stroke right so I can get all of my power. I'll be screaming bike life till I die. Rev my engine till my tires spin around with a fire. Hold my willy in the air as long as I can. Desire makes my two-stroke right so I can get all of my power. I'll be screaming bike life. I got a bitch on the back of my bike, she don't even know my name now. Riding around the city, pop willies, I can't stay down. 12 o'clock my bike, remember practicing on the playground. No, I'm not a rock star, but I like to rock cars. Smash out on the cop car, chase me if you got heart. Never push the panic button, but I'll push the start button. Villain in my hood, causing problems, always starting some. Get chased by the cops, I'm fleeing, I will leave far from you. Screaming, pull it over, cut the engine, I won't fall for. I won't stall for 'em, pick it up and watch me ball for 'em. Fuck the cops and undercover cars, I won't fall for 'em. Fuck the cops and undercover cars, I won't fall for 'em. My plans for the night is to go ride with the bros. Can you roll me up a wood right before I hit the road? But girl, you rolling with me too though. Just go get your boots on, get your helmet too though. Cruising through the city, riding around just me and you though. Colors in my bike switching up like the game of Uno. What I'm riding today, who know? On the 4-stroke or the 2-stroke.
Bike life till I die.
Rev my engine till my tires spin around with a fire. Hold my willy in the air as long as I can. Desire makes my two-stroke right so I can get all of my power. I'll be screaming bike life till I die. Rev my engine till my tires spin around with a fire. Hold my willy in the air as long as I can. Desire makes my two-stroke right so I can get all of my power. I'll be screaming bike life till I die. It's time to put the guns down and come ride with me. Take flight with me, ride through the day and night with me. At 12 o'clock you should just get high with me. Not talking about smoking blunts, just Willie bikes with me. Ride through the day into the night with me. Next day pull them out at sunrise with me. All my brothers bound to pull up and ride with me. Take flight with me, all night with me. Rev my engine till my tires spin around with a fire. Hold my willy in the air as long as I can. Desire makes my two-stroke right so I can get all of my power. I'll be screaming bike life till I die. Rev my engine till my tires spin around with a fire. Hold my willy in the air as long as I can. Desire makes my two-stroke right so I can get all of my power. I'll be screaming bike life till I die.
Shout out to everybody who ride bikes 2019 with me. Shout out Rise Up. Shout out 12 o'clock boys. Shout out Brett, man. I be watching you. I look up to you, man. Shout out to Mick Mills mainly on this one. Bike life till I die.
Okay. Break over. Let's move on. We're going to go. We'll start here. I'm going to leave this. Watch what I'm going to do. We're going to share this tab. We're going to put it down here, and I'm going to save that for tomorrow, hopefully. If not, I'll go put it in a watch later. I have so many fucking playlists. I need to fix them. Okay. So, now. That was Keon Thomason, I think is his name. He rents my garage. Good young boy. Needs some. He does need to get his shit together a little. I'll tell him that because I'm allowed. He ain't a bad kid though. He's trying. He's trying to get better. He got this baby. Listen, people's circumstances are circumstances. He ain't even from the city. He moved in a little later, and I hope to see him do amazing things in life. And if I can be there to help him to do so, I will be. Okay, let's see where we go in my community posts. I'm in the wrong spot. I'm not going to go through all of these. You can read them. I don't want to go deep in. But if you look at this post on my community wall, you're going to see 107 comments. A lot of them are, you're a liar, prove it, you're crazy, you're this, you're that. But there's a few comments on here. This stupid motherfucker don't have no fucking comprehension skills at all. And he forgets I know him in real life. And he's claiming that I'm not showing proof. However, I have been showing proof for 3-4 motherfucking years, bitch. Go watch my posts. Let's tell them how you know the We Can Bring You Hope people. I don't know what's going on with the We Can Bring You Hope people. I have reasons to believe they're out here for good and bad. So I'm going to quit attacking them. I don't know who's who, but I know these motherfuckers connect to my life. And if any of them want to come out here and fucking say shit to me, they can. I've been posting about them. You see one motherfucker from We Can Bring You Hope in all these years come out and say one thing to me? No, you haven't. I've been going around my neighborhood taking their motherfucking flyers down, calling the fucking missing persons people on them. I do know a lot of them personally. Not all of them. They're spread out. Their 501c3 is up in Butler. It's up in Plum Borough. It's up in, like, it's all over, and maybe even in different states. However, you don't see them on our news. It's almost, to me, I'm speculating, a money laundering scheme in some sort of fucking way or fashion. And I'm not happy about it, because what it does is it hurts the community I fucking grew up in. Our elders wouldn't have ran the community like that. Yes, I do believe in a good old boy system to a point. I'm not Italian, but our town is very Italian ran. That's where I'll say that. And I don't appreciate what the fuck is going on in a town where I fucking grew up in. And I do believe that it has ties and connections to Summer Wells, possibly even to my own father being responsible for Summer. It drives me crazy every day trying to figure this shit out, but my father had borderland. My father knew people like the man we just went over. He lived in that area for 30 years. He probably was there for 40, 45 years, considering his best friends had a home down there where he visited frequently, in my opinion. He stayed in contact with the people in Miami after he moved. His movement patterns match those. I've been studying. That's why I haven't been out here. I've been researching my own motherfucking father because I didn't know the motherfucker. Okay? I knew what he was into. I've been telling you in my community post about a woman named Margie. My father was very abusive. And I had gone down with my first husband at one point, and we went down twice in a row. The second time I come down, Margie's dead, my dad's girlfriend, and he has a green card marriage to Tatiana. Go Ben verify it. I beat my dad's ass when I got down there, so much so the police even came to his apartment because I caught him in the pool with somebody who looked to be under fucking age, or at least my age. And I was like 19 at the time. I didn't know it was a green card marriage till I started covering Summer's case and learning how to use Ben Verified and all this other shit. Then I looked at it. Ziggy was talking her green card marriages, and I was like, what in the motherfuck is this shit? My sister Jennifer. So I wrote Jennifer, and I was like, did you know Daddy had green card marriages? Like, what's the fuck is going on here? And the vibe has always been really strange between me and my sister and my dad's wife. We'll get into that one day, but I truly believe that there could be something that connects to Summer Wells connected to all of this. It's not a lie. And if I want to come out here and say something, I fucking will, because it's my family. And for some reason, I feel like my father might have ordered a hit on Fred or Dawn or somebody. That really is my fucking thoughts. And to even be in my mind, not knowing if that's a possibility, it's speculation in my mind right now, right? Like, I don't know. It's based on my life and me putting my life together and my father's life together. But even imagining something like that, where I've been out here fighting for this little girl for 4 fucking years. Even imagining, even if not true. Even being able to have the possibility of the realm to think the things I'm thinking is fucking quite disgusting to me. Now you add a dirty brother-in-law who never really gave a fuck about my sister and fed her drugs and helped to open a strip club in Killeen, Texas, and helped to traffic my sister, her own husband, the children of her, the father of her children, who makes six figures and got to tell me a million times in my fucking comment sections that he does. It's strange. He has a weekend girlfriend who's married to a person I grew up with and was very close to, like a brother, like Cregan. I believe Ernie's show really does connect directly to the little town I grew up in. I have an idea of some activities that happened as a child, a bust at a bar called Chuggers. I think my father connected to. There's just a lot of secrets, and even me coming out here right now and saying the things I'm saying puts my life in major danger. However, I don't give a fuck. I want Summer found. Bob. So whatever you know about these people, you better start motherfucking talking. I don't fear a single one of you motherfuckers from up here in Pennsylvania. There's a creator on here whose voice sounds identical to somebody who was possibly very close to me growing up. And I know activities that this human did in real life as a teenager that I moved away from. Not even as a teenager, as a young adult when I was having my children. I ran into a friend of mine who told me some information. I know things. That's what it's like to grow up in a small fucking town. I'm not going to go deep into detail. I don't need to. I'm going to leave that for the authorities to find because I really don't want to be that big of a snitch. However, if I find out this was my motherfucking parents that had a goddamn thing to do with my friend Chester, with my friend Lisa. Lisa is on land very close to my father's property on the border. She's missing. However, we have had word 2 years ago, now 3, that she was alive, but she's missing again. It's not a fucking joke. I'm not playing this shit. This isn't how we grew up. We grew up to love one another, take care of one another. And I don't know what fucking bullshit y'all got going on over there in that little town, but I'm going to tell you the fuck what. I'm not fucking playing no more. I will blow everybody's shit out of the motherfucking water. You better come motherfucking get me. It's not a fucking joke. I believe they are money laundering out of the old Unimart. Get that fucking bitch that treated Felicia's son like shit out of that motherfucker before I come over there and start throwing motherfucking fists. I seen it with my own motherfucking eyes. I'm fucking done with the game shitting games yous are playing over there in this little town. We could play good old fucking boy system, but we're gonna go back to the old days. You got me? Especially if it's my dad that has something to do with any of this. And y'all kept it a secret from me my whole fucking life. The shitting games are fucking over. I don't care how crazy I look and sound out here. I know my life. I know where my shit connects, and I know who the fuck it connects to. Y'all are going to learn real motherfucking quick, too. It's not a fucking game. Return Summer or give answers for her. Santucci. Yednak. The shit's done. This is what I didn't want to come out here and do. However, it's what I'm doing. Fuck you all. Have a nice day. Kiss my motherfucking ass and get your fucking shit together and start talking so that this little girl is fucking found. I'm pissed off. I wanted to go further. Read the comments. There's 2 or 3 posts. Go look at how my brother-in-law don't give a shit about that little girl. I don't see you in here, Bob, trying to grab a link, you fucking pussy. Peace and love to the rest of you. I'll be back later. I'll try. We'll go over more Escobar and Corleone stuff. It's more fun.